I know that speaking of more cliff jumping, it's cool you got started in Colorado because I feel like there's a couple spots that I know of, but like, what do you do during the winter?
Well, that's the thing is like the last few years now that like since I've been getting really serious into it, I've been trying to go like
Get out of Dodge.
either like go somewhere warm or like last year for the whole year I lived in Tahoe, which was cold, but I have a group of friends. We all go out and do a bunch of cliff jumping. It's kind of small crew, like anywhere kind of around like 20, 30 of us, like any up to 100. There's all around the country. But I have a really good group of friends that live in California, NorCal area, and that's kind of how I got my whole start with them. And we've been friends for years now, jumping all sorts of different cliffs. And when you put yourself in situations like that with other people, you get so close. Like a lot of them
you're all growing and progressing together.
Yeah, and a lot of them, like, you're on the edge of a big ass cliff and you're contemplating if you are ready to do this, and if or if you're gonna get knocked out if you land. Like it's serious stuff. So when you have those situations with people like that, you get really close. And so I lived out there with them, and every as much as we can, usually at least twice a month, we'll go somewhere cool that's a little warmer, has a little better weather there. Or sometimes we'll make a snowy cliff jumping excursion where we just wetsuit up and just hope for the best,
Yes.
But living in Colorado, like you said, like starting here was good because there's no cold water anymore. Everyone's like, oh, be careful, it's cold. No, it's not cold.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not cold. I'm from Colorado.
I jumped into water that was ice 5 minutes ago.
No, literally, there's a place I went in Silverton, and my main first mentor in cliff diving here in Colorado, he like I told you, like a lot of my friends from Casa Bonita would take me cliff diving, but this guy wasn't working there at the time, but he used to. His name's John Conyers. He's super rad dude, and he's been cliff diving in Colorado. He's like, it's insane. Like he would go to these high alpine lakes, sometimes just by himself. So just maybe him and a friend, like 9-mile, 10-mile hikes up. Probably even there's ones that are more like 16 miles up to these alpine lakes.
Yeah, like past tree line.
Yeah, way past tree line. Yeah, and it's like jumping off where there's snow everywhere, and and they were back in the day. They were just rocking the Speedos and just like snowy cliff diving in Speedos. Like
that's so badass.
So raw. And I was always like
man.
Whenever I went with them, I would be like, oh man, I've been thinking about like wearing a wetsuit because then it won't be so cold. They're like, man up. Don't be a pussy. Like I'm just like, oh no, okay, I guess. And so it's just you learn how to. It's just breathing. That's what I learned when you're in cold water. Just breathe differently.
Yeah.
And like I haven't really studied the Wim Hof method or anything like that. I've heard it works and it's cool and everything. I just try to breathe twice as fast as I normally would.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
That's probably similar method or whatever is the Wim Hof method, or I don't really know.
We're looking at you like we know what to do.
I know.
Have you guys heard of that? It's
I've
like
heard of
the
it,
guy
and I looked it up once, and
it's like the Wim Hof is the dude who like holds every record for like longest sitting in an ice bath or walking barefoot in Antarctica, like in boxers or something. Like,
what an interesting life he's chosen to live.
No, but that guy's like mad successful now. He has written books. He does seminars and he has people now that learn from him and teach seminars for him. Like it's that big. Like it's crazy. Like
I'll see Facebook ads every once in a while for like the
Wim
Hof method and whatnot. Yeah.
See, I learned that like cold water you had to breathe more because I was rafting with my dad, and it was a high season, and there was literally no rapids because it was so high.
Wow.
It was above all the rocks, and so the guide's like, yeah, we're just gonna be like floating for like 10 minutes. It's not really going to be anything. And then my dad's like, you want to jump in the water? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, okay. And he just chucks me overboard. And then obviously, like, I'm immediately out of breath because it'll knock the wind out of you if you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like sitting there gasping for air. He's like, breathe more. Or breathe more. Just like that was how I figured it out.
Yeah,
like,
no, that's basically what it is. Like, because, it'll take your initial breath away, but then people freak out because their breath got taken away.
They freak out.
But once it's away, it's like your breath is technically kind of taken away when you, like, take a breath.
Yeah.
Like when you go like that, your breath is kind of taken away. So if you just kind of like put your rhythm back to your breathing, like you just have to like remind yourself to keep breathing. Yeah. And then I just try to do it twice as fast. I'm just like,
yeah.
When I'm like swimming,
Dude.
But it's definitely, it takes a lot of getting used to, but now I can jump in like any water. This place in Silverton, we measured, it was like literally like he had a thing that measured it. And it was below freezing. Literally below freezing in this alpine lake. The only thing that was keeping it from freezing was constant high wind.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So
if the water's moving, it can't freeze.
A cold one. Wow. That was the coldest one ever. That was bad. That was like 12,600 feet up or something like that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is so rad, man. That is like the craziest. I feel like that's such a unique skill because being able to push yourself past fear is probably something that you are uniquely gifted at this point. Like you've built up a very specific skill of like, this is intimidating, but I'm going to trust my skill set. Yeah. And I think that that's something that everyone could probably get better at.
Yeah, and I think it definitely applies to anything though. Like, fear is like, everyone's like, oh, you're like, it's crazy that you're not afraid of it. And it's like, I'm afraid. Like I get scared, I'm jumping off huge stuff that could probably kill me, if I land wrong.
The consequences.
Yeah, I'm very aware. But fear is like a muscle, just like any other muscle in your body. You work it out, it gets stronger, it gets more resilient. So you scare yourself more and you get less scared. Or not even that you get less scared, but you are able to push. It's like it's same as lifting weights. Like
you're able to just deal with it more.
Like at some point, you may not be able to lift, the 50-pound weight, right? But you lift enough of the 45-pound weights, then you can, you can move up.
Fear is a big heavy barbell. Like one, you might not be able to pick it up, but you start working with things that kind of scare you, and then all of a sudden you build a tolerance and you build like. Because that's something that I think we routinely try and do in our channel is, like, scare ourselves enough to where, like, going and, like, talking to your boss about, like, the raise that you really think that you deserve becomes less scary because you just went and did something that was, like, genuinely dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can build up that muscle, like you said.
Yeah, and it's, like, the same way, like, you lift that 50-pound weight and then later on down the road, you're lifting 100 pounds. You go back to lift that 50-pound weight. It's still 50 pounds. It's not a feather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't take away the weight that it ever was. It's always been 50 pounds. So a 50-foot cliff is still scary. It's like it could still, like I've seen people break their backs and, horrible stuff from 50 feet only, And then
you've just gotten stronger.
But now I can jump 100 feet too. But it's like, and same with that. And I've jumped above 100 feet, but it doesn't make 100 feet any less scary,
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, is like it doesn't get any lighter just because you've gotten stronger.
Yeah, exactly. It's still dangerous no matter how comfortable I am with it. That's like, I mean, it's less dangerous the more comfortable I am. Technically, like it's all mental, A lot of it's just mental. It's muscle memory. If you've done it once off 70 feet, if you go to do that same exact motion off 75, there's a good chance you'll still be okay, even if you do that same exact motion. Just maybe slow it down a little, and then same goes for all the way up.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing that I've never understood is like
gauging it.
Right, gauging the speed.
I've never even attempted, I don't think.
That's why it's great about cliff diving, though. It's like speed doesn't have anything to do with it, and that's why
or I guess timing maybe.
Right, yeah, no, time. It's all just timing and body control. But like, I have friends that base jump, and they've been, I have so many people like, oh, you should base jump and skydive, and I'm like, yeah, like I will, eventually, I'm sure. But I don't like trusting equipment, When it's cliff diving, I like it because it's me. I'm barefoot. I just got board shorts on. There's nothing that can go wrong that's not my fault. If I'm base jumping and I pull my thing and the line gets twisted or it just doesn't pull or something weird happens, that I died because of the failure of the parachute.
But if you're the one that packed it, then
right? Oh, yeah. I mean that. But you get what I mean. Like
it's like when Dan Osman free climbed like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And then when he died, it was the one time he wore a harness and the harness broke.
Exactly. Yeah. Like same type shit. It's like I don't want, like, if I get hurt and get messed up doing something, I want it to be like my fault. Like I don't want to sit back afterwards and be like, oh well, if only my board shorts were,
if they were blue, I wouldn't have gotten
yeah, like no, it's like it's all on me, and that gives you a whole different like appreciation for it too, because you can't rely on anything to save you. You just rely on yourself, and like I don't know.